Welcome to Producing Unscripted
with Joke and Biagio.
YouTube enhanced version. Clickable table of contents in description below.
This episode.
It's episode 5. Today, sound super smart when pitching unscripted television by using 5 magic words. We'll tell you what they mean and why they're so important. The first question Joke's going to ask if you're pitching us a TV project. And I'm experiencing a little separation anxiety. Hope I can make it through this episode. Music courtesy Dave Pellman Music.
DavePellman.com.
All right, hey everybody, thanks for joining us for episode 5 of Producing Unscripted. She's Joke.
He's Biagio.
And we make unscripted film and television and want to help you do the same, hopefully by teaming up with us. Well, I have to admit something. I am getting ready to experience some separation anxiety because me and Joke have a lot of projects going on right now, and Joke is going to have to go on the first part of a road trip without me, aren't you, honey?
I am. I'm going to miss you, babe.
I'm going to miss you. This is horrible. This is what happens when you have a successful company and you're working with your wife. At first, it's fantastic because you're like, we get to be together 24 hours a day. And then you have so many shows going on that you have to divide and conquer. And oh my gosh, I am better when Joke is around. I will just say it. I am not ashamed to say that she has made me a better man. There, I said it.
Aww. We'll be fine, babe. You're coming out a couple days later.
I am. It's only for a few days. I shouldn't complain. Me and Joke are still very hands-on in a lot of these pilots, and we're going to be running around with a couple of cameras, aren't we, honey?
Yep. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I love shooting and editing stuff. It's why we do this.
Yep.
Hopefully it's why you want to do it, too.
Musical break.
Now, if you've listened to the first episodes, we've been laying out a little bit at a time the things you need to know to team up with us. Well, today, we're going to give you 5 incredibly powerful words that will, number 1, make you sound like you know what you're talking about when you're pitching reality TV shows and documentary series. And number 2, if you listen to what we have to say and you understand how to use the words, you will know what you're talking about. So, Joke, without further ado, what are these 5 magic words that we've been hinting at for several episodes?
Self-contained, arced, format, docu, and hybrid.
Ooh, very fancy words.
The reason these 5 words are important is because you'll come in with a world or a character, and you'll say, oh, I have this fantastic idea. And the very first question coming out of my mouth will be, is this a self-contained or an arc show? And the second question will be format or docu. And if you do not know the answers to that, I'll know that you do not have a show concept.
And what if they say hybrid?
Well, they still didn't answer the first question.
This is true.
Okay, so let's start with the first question. Self-contained or arced? If you think about The Bachelor, that is an arced show, meaning that every episode continues and based on the last one, and that by the end of the season, it's leading to something. So most of the competition elimination shows are arced shows. They are the ones that Survivor, Amazing Race, Big Brother...
Our own shows, Beauty and the Geek and Scream Queens.
Scream Queens, where every episode someone gets eliminated, so you have a mini arc per episode, but it's still leading up to the big one at the end. Arc shows are mostly broadcast network shows. NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox. They want you to tune in every week. That's what their bread and butter is. They want you to keep coming back. A self-contained show is exactly that. The entire show is contained to one episode. So when you are laying around the house on a Saturday afternoon and you see those marathons of episodes, if you can air them out of order, it's a self-contained show. Are we still with me here?
Right. Give us some examples of a self-contained show.
Undercover Boss, which is a CBS show, is also self-contained. But most self-contained shows live on cable. They very much rely on the audience member just to tune in. They may not watch every episode and they may not watch them in order. So while some self-contained shows have arced storylines. For example, if you follow a season of the Kardashians, you will see relationships progress or stories unfold over the course of a season, but most of those episodes are satisfactory just in and of itself. There is a problem that presents itself in the beginning of the episode, they try to solve it, and there's some kind of resolution towards the end. So those are self-contained episodes. If you are coming up with a multi-million-dollar show an episode, you better come up with a way that it's arced because there's very few people who will pay for a very, very expensive self-contained episode. American Idol arced. The Voice arced. However, Singing Bee, self-contained. So there are versions of these kinds of shows that you can do self-contained. Cable does some ARC shows as well. Project Runway obviously is an ARC show. Top Chef. Again, those are a lot of competition elimination shows. So again, to recap, ARC shows, you can't air them out of order. They really kind of, go from beginning to end. Think elimination competition. Self-contained shows, beginning to end, I can watch one episode and I get it. I can air them out of order and it's good to go.
I totally feel myself getting smarter right now. Booyah!
So the other 3 words, is it a format, is it a docu, or is it a hybrid?
Let's break it down. What is a format?
A format relies on tentpole moments. It means every episode certain things will happen. So for example, Undercover Boss is a format. The boss goes undercover, he has to do certain tasks, he comes to some kind of realization, he meets back up with some of the employees he was with and rewards them or, comes to some kind of resolution. Obviously, The Bachelor is a format show. Every episode starts with a few dates and then they all culminate into a rose ceremony. Survivor, you have the immunity challenge and the reward challenges and leading up to tribal council. So if there are certain things that are absolutely going to happen every episode, it is a format show. True format shows are the ones where there isn't even really a regular cast. You can swap out the cast. So the Undercover Boss, every episode, it's with a new company owner, it's new company employees. That is a true format. You can sell it around the world. The people can come in and out of it. It is a format show.
And by the way, another thing that I want to point out is the format show can be either self-contained or arced, right, Joke?
Correct. Undercover Boss is a self-contained format. Survivor is an arced format.
So these words are words that you're going to need to mix together to make us understand what kind of show you're pitching to us. We're going to keep going here.
Right. Mythbusters is also a format show. Dirty Jobs is a format show. Yes, Micro and the guys at Mythbusters are kind of big characters in it, but technically you could replace them. Show might not be as good. They found really good talent to host those shows, but yet the format of it could be sold all around the world and they could put in their crazy guys or, their good looking hosts.
Their Asian Micro or their Singaporean Micro or Singaporean. Is that a nationality? Did I just make that up?
I'm not sure if that's a word, but we can go with it.
All right. Anyway, you get the point.
So that's format. Docu comes obviously from the documentary, docu-series. There's docudrama, there's docu-comedy, and that all relies on the characters. Most docus, you can't sell overseas and have them recast it because the key to success of that series is your cast. Duck Dynasty is a docu. It's a docu sitcom. It's very funny, but it's a docu. If you look at the Kardashians, it's a docu. It lives on those characters. There's not a lot of docus in broadcast television.
They've tried them, but there haven't been a whole lot that have really stuck.
CW is playing around with a few, like Breaking Point, which is a ballet docu. But most docus live in cable. It's where the audience for those shows is. They get to invest a little more into characters, and also cable networks can give a show a little bit more time to find an audience where networks can't. And so if you don't come up with a really big hook right off the bat, which most docus don't, you need some time to grow it.
So that brings us to
the one that most shows fall into, which is a hybrid. You find a hybrid because it has these amazing characters and you have the docu stuff, but it still has very formatable elements. Millionaire Matchmaker is a format, but because of the character of Patty being so strong, it's really more of a hybrid because you'll follow some of her own personal life drama and then get back to the format of the week, which is, she's hooking up certain millionaires, finding dates for them and hopefully making a match. So, most shows fall somewhere in the middle. I think that comes from the fact that formats are very reliable for an audience. There's a reason Law & Order has been running for so many years. We like our tentpole moments. We like knowing when we turn on the television, are we in the first half of the episode or the last half of the episode? There is something about docuseries that are a little harder and they require more from the audience in terms of truly just investing in them. And so the hybrid, which is what most shows end up falling into, is really great because you have those repeatable format elements that keep coming back, that keeps an audience coming back, but it really is relying on these great characters.
Our own show, Caged, was a hybrid show. And let me talk about why. We had great characters, first of all. I mean, as far as the doc part goes, Sports Illustrated called us the real life Friday Night Lights. That's all because of the kids. It was those kids. Those kids were real. They were amazing. You were invested in their stories. However, every single week had a format to it, right, Joe?
Every week, every episode, we led up to a fight. So you always had your A storyline or someone was going to have to fight that episode. And so you could follow their story. So that is something that's always there. And then the relationship sagas, which is true docu, were weaved in and out throughout those episodes. So honestly, could you watch them out of order? Possibly, but not too much. Therefore, it's not really a format. You really did kind of want to get invested in the characters in the docu of it, but we did add a format element in terms of every episode you would have the fight of the week. I mean, sometimes it was 2 fights of the week, but you'd have at least that fight of the week storyline to follow.
I loved making that show.
It's a great show.
Probably our favorite show we ever made, right?
Till this point.
To this point, I mean, it was...
I hope that's not going to be it forever.
No. I mean, to this point, it was amazing. Those kids were amazing. The stories were amazing. And that's an example of MTV letting us go out and shoot a doc for like 9 months because we just filmed and filmed and filmed. How many thousands of hours did we have again?
I don't know, but we had about 600 scenes shot and we ended up only airing about, I think, between 100 and 120.
We left more good scenes on the floor than a lot of shows ever have in the first place. And that's completely because of those kids, the town of Minden, Louisiana, who let us in to film.
And Shreveport.
I'm getting nostalgic now. I miss those kids, but it was a wonderful experience to get to shoot that. And it's experiences like that make us want to work in Unscripted.
Right. Well, looking at some of the other shows we've done, Rhett and Link's Commercial Kings was much more of a format. It's more in the Mythbusters kind, where you have a format with really strong characters. You can absolutely air those out of order. If we look at
Scream Queens,
it is 100% an arced format. You don't want to air those out of order because then all of a sudden you go from there's 6 girls left to there's 2 girls left to there's 8 girls left to there's 1 girl, but so it doesn't really make sense. So that's an arced format. Commercial Kings was self-contained.
Foodie Call was self-contained. Every episode our host would come in, help some guy make over his place, make over his cooking skills, have a romantic date. Format, exactly. Cast doesn't matter. You can swap out the hosts. Totally format.
So what we're looking for right now from you guys is, 1, start looking at television and start figuring out, the homework I gave you about watching TV. So now really look at some of those shows and go, oh, is this arced or self-contained? Is this format, docu, or hybrid? If you know those 5 words and when you pitch us a show idea, you already can tell us where in the TV landscape you see this fitting, you're already half of the way there.
And by the way, most people will never pitch to us that way. That's why we want to give you these tools. It makes it so much easier for us to know where you're coming from and for us to help you get the show on television. Okay, if you've been listening to all of our episodes, you now know who we are, how to submit your show concepts to us, what it takes to make yourself valuable to a pitch, the steps to develop a show without going broke, and the 5 magic words of pitching reality TV. Next time, we're going to give you secrets of spotting great characters. How to know if an everyday person would make a good TV show, where to look, and what to do when you find someone you think is unscripted television gold. Don't miss it, so please be sure to subscribe at iTunes. It's really easy. Just go to producingunscripted.com/iTunes. And if you could leave us a comment and a rating, it would mean the world to us, and let us know you'd like us to make some more of these. So until next time,
Thank you so much.
Producing Unscripted
with Joke and Biagio.